Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. EQA Nostalgia here. And today I want to talk to you guys about the EverQuest Next Landmark live stream that took place on the 15th of January. I know it's been a while since I've covered EverQuest Next or Landmark, and trust me, I've received plenty of messages from you guys asking me what is going on. And I have actually lost a few subs, people who just got tired of waiting for information to come out and they left. And that's something that I definitely don't like to see happen, but I cannot control the flow of information that comes out about EverQuest Next and Landmark. So I just want everybody to understand that I have not given up on EverQuest Next or Landmark, and I plan on covering both of them for many years to come. And we've seen a little bit of a dry spell. There hasn't been a whole lot to talk about in terms of EverQuest Next or Landmark. However, that all changed yesterday, thankfully. So, without further ado, let's get right down to it, shall we? Alright, so first of all, I want to thank EQ Hammer for posting a lot of things and bringing them to my attention on their main website. I visit their website almost every day, and I encourage you guys to do the same. I will be leaving a link in the description. Sony Online Entertainment San Diego campus will actually be hosting an event on January 31st where you can get your hands on the EverQuest Next Landmark demo. Now, they expect a pretty good turnout, so you're only going to be able to play for about 15 to 20 minutes, but nevertheless, if you are eager to play, I suggest you do that. Also, another really cool thing is that you're going to actually be able to get a guided tour of the work and development areas. So essentially, it's like a behind-the-scenes tour that you get to take, and teams from EverQuest, EverQuest 2, and EverQuest Next will all be there. So if you ever wanted to talk to any of the developers, now is your chance, because this is pretty much like an open house event. Now, they also mentioned that you will be under NDA, non-disclosure agreement, so when you play the demo and you take those guided tours, you're not going to be able to tell people about it, which is kind of a bittersweet thing. And the tendency is to want to tell people about stuff like that, but you're not going to be able to hop on YouTube and just tell everybody everything. So yes, if you're one of those people who plans on going, be prepared to sign that agreement, and if you're under 18, you'll need a parent or guardian to sign it for you. Now, obviously, I wish I could go out there, but it's just too far away, and I do not have the means to get out there. But hopefully some of you guys will be able to do that. Alrighty, so the most talked about thing in the live stream had to be the claims and the way that they are going to function. So most of you are probably well aware that a claim is going to be where you're able to stake your piece of land and build your buildings. It's just kind of like a place where you'll be able to build in peace without anybody trolling your stuff. However, people will be able to enter your claim. You're not going to be able to prevent them from doing that, but you do have the ability to toggle whether or not they're visible or hidden so that you don't have to tolerate seeing them. Now, naturally, you'll be able to create permissions that allow people to use things in your claims, interactable things like forges and stuff like that, or you can just choose to keep them off if you rather not anybody tamper with your stuff. They also went on to say that there are going to be many different levels of permissions that you can hand out to people. So essentially, you'll be able to regulate just how much people can interact with you and your claim. The current claim size is measured in meters as 70 by 70 by 100. Now, the number of claims you're going to be able to stake in alpha is going to be very limited, but it will open up later on. So for example, in alpha you might be able to stake just one claim, and then later as the game gets released you might be able to stake 2 or 3 or 4 claims. We're not certain how many, but they did say it will be more relaxed and it will be determined by escalating upkeep and maintenance costs. So the more claims you have, the more you have to pay to keep those with in-game currency, I do believe. Now, I'm not certain if they will have a cash item feature where you can actually pay real money to have more claims and stuff like that. I'm hoping they won't, but being that this is a free-to-play game, it's very possible. However, I hope that they shy away from that kind of activity because that would be more of a pay-to-win style thing. I mean, you really can't win in a game like this because you're just crafting, but it could upset people if you can pay real money for upkeep. So that right there is something I'm very interested in hearing more about. Now, they did go on to mention that they don't want to see abandoned claims in the game, so if you're not around to pay that upkeep maintenance, somebody can come in and buy your claim. And I don't know how I feel about that. I don't really want to see claims go abandoned where things are just standing there, but at the same time, if I'm gone for a few months and I just don't log in for whatever reason, it could suck to come back and see my claim has been bought by somebody else. However, if a claim goes unpurchased, you can get right back into it by paying your upkeep. Now, the next point that they made is that claims are going to be able to be made like adjacent so that you can expand your zone of control. So essentially, you can stake like 3 or 4 claims and make a really big area so you can just continue to build. And I know they said that you'd be able to do that with other people, and you could actually, that could result in some really awesome, massive structures and towns and things like that amongst people in the same guild or friends. So that's going to be pretty cool. We will be seeing a few smaller claims here and there, like maybe a house, and then you'll go a ways down like the road or something like that, and you'll come across the big town, and that'll belong to like a certain guild. So that kind of stuff's going to be really cool, and I think it'll help to just diversify some of the buildings that we're going to see in the game. Now, other people's claims can actually be viewed as like a gray square, and you'll actually be able to view them in the map or toggle them off if you prefer so that you don't see them at all. And another thing that I mentioned previously is you will be able to tag your claims. So people will essentially be able to look up certain things like sci-fi or things like fantasy and stuff like that, or they can just search your name and they'll come up with like a search list and they can check out claims by doing that. And it's just a really nice organizational system there because it can be a pain if you're looking for something and you can't find it. Like let's say you want to see the Starship Enterprise, you can just type that up and you can come up with a whole bunch of different things and it'll probably show you on your map where you need to go to view those things. And I think that's really nice because let's say I want to make an ice castle. I know you guys have probably heard me say this a few times. I'm definitely interested in building something like that. And I want to get an idea for what I should do. I can type in ice castle and it'll come up with like 40, 50 different ice castles that I can go check out and just get an idea of what I might want to build or possibly even purchase some of the things that they have made. Let's say, for example, I've started my ice castle and I don't know how to build an ice tower, and someone else has an ice tower, and I go there and I check it out, and they've actually put like a patent on it and they're selling it in the shop. I can buy their ice tower and incorporate it into my structure. So, yes, I definitely like the idea of tags, and I can see myself using them a lot. And there's another thing that I've mentioned a few times, but I am going to repeat it just because they did bring this up. You will be able to rate other people's claims, and ratings will also be search criteria on the map. So that's nice, being able to check out the different ratings. So let's say you want to just check out, say, like a 5-star rating. You can just check out all the ones that got the highest ratings, or the lowest ratings if you want to go and point and laugh at some of the structures that haven't been rated very highly. Another thing about the claims that's really neat is you'll be able to name them and give a description for the claims. So let's say I build a castle and I want to call it EQOA's Castle, and then I can just go on to detail what that castle is and just give like a description. Now, when people enter that area of my claim, it'll actually pop up on the top of their screen, so it'll kind of be like they're entering a zone. It'll say you have entered EQOA's Castle, and it'll give them a description. Now, one thing I'm not certain about is that let's say you have a bunch of people who join claims together like a guild and they build a town. When I enter that town, is it going to tell me the name of the town collectively, or are there going to be different names for each little section? Hopefully you can join together the entire claims, like say there's like 40 claims, and just call them one thing. Now, when you do claim something, it's going to be instant. There isn't going to be some sort of setup period or any cooldown that has to initiate. Claims will also have a storage device of sorts, so each claim will have like a number of chests within the claim. So apparently you will get some starting chests now. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to make additional chests for additional storage within your claim, but it seems like they're going to give you start you off with like a standard amount of chests. And there will be different types of storage. Like some storage will be kind of like a global storage where you can open up a chest anywhere and take them out, kind of like the Void Vault, I believe that's how that functions. And then you'll have chests that you'll actually have to go to and pull them out of there. So I'm not entirely certain on how that's going to function, but apparently there will be global chests that you can access in different locations. Now, I've mentioned this before, in closed beta your claims are going to be wiped. In open beta they will not be wiped, so you won't have to worry about that. So it would seem that open beta is going to be where you're going to want to get in there and stake your claim, because that's going to be your permanent claim. Unless, of course, you let the maintenance go and then you could lose it. Another thing worth mentioning is that when you do stake a claim, you're not going to be able to rotate it later on. So it's going to be kind of fixed into a grid. Now, just because those are fixed, it doesn't mean you can't pack them up and move them. Active claims will be able to be packed up and moved, so that's pretty cool. Another thing that I mentioned is that sometime after the post alpha, you're not going to be able to get a claim flag right away. You're going to have to wait a few minutes to get one, and they're going to do that to stop people from creating multiple accounts and spamming claims, which would definitely be a problem. Okay, so that is pretty much on claims. Now, they did talk a little bit about some other things, including combat. There is not going to be any combat in alpha. However, EverQuest Next Landmark, when it does go live, will have combat. I know a lot of you guys were wondering that, and so I know you're probably pretty excited to hear that. You will actually be able to kill stuff and, gather like materials, like maybe say you kill a wolf, you can gather the hides. Now, they didn't mention what kind of creatures we're going to be fighting. However, they did tease one monster called the Chomper. And it kind of looks like a Venus flytrap or like a Marbro from Final Fantasy. I think it looks pretty cool. It's obviously a plant style creature. And it would be really cool if it dropped like seeds or something and you can plant little chompers, like have like a chomper garden. I mean, this is all speculation, but it would be pretty cool. I don't know though, it would be a pretty cool way to keep people off of your claim if you don't want anybody coming around. You just start a chomper garden that attacks anybody that gets too close. Obviously, I'm just being a wise guy. This is nothing that's been confirmed. Now, one thing that is worth mentioning here is that there will be some crafting in alpha, but it's not going to be complete. There's going to be, a lot more added to it later on, so that you can look forward to that. Now, anything that you have gathered in a specific server, let's say you go out and you mine gold, it's going to actually remain in your inventory if you travel to a different server, so that's really nice. You're not going to lose any of the stuff that you've gathered. They also made mention of a feature called Dev Talk, and that's going to kind of give you like a rundown on some of the stuff that you look at. It'll tell you how far along the development is on things. Like say you look at a tree, it'll give you some details on how far along that is and what you can expect in the future. Now, interestingly enough, there will also be a link where you can click on it and go to the forums for further discussion. So it's kind of going to be like a little wiki button that you can hit. Now, both the developers and the players will be able to leave kind of like a notes for each other to read. So it's pretty interesting. I don't think I've ever heard of anything like that in a game. So things are shaping up pretty nicely. Now, they did mention that people will not be able to stake claims underneath you or above you. However, they have not specified about being able to build underground. So hopefully that's something that we can hear a little bit more about. I'm most definitely interested in being able to build under the ground in like volcanic style areas. But the only thing that really concerns me is that the claims look to be a little small. I know they said that you can join multiple claims together, but as it stands, I think it's a little bit of a small building area. Given the fact that the game's going to be pretty big, I think they should maybe expand the size of the claims a little bit. Okay, so that wraps it up for this discussion, folks. If you are new to my channel, I'd ask that you please hit that subscription button. As I said earlier, I will be covering EverQuest Next and Landmark for many years to come. I thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.